And hello, everyone. Good morning to this power scanning session preparing for the week ahead. It is November 2nd, 2024. Halloween is behind us. The elections are ahead of us. Wow, crazy times, exciting times. What better time to do a live scanning session to see if there are some promising setups for the week ahead, of course, always taken into consideration what actually also is the week ahead. It's the big election. So there will be some volatility in the markets in the next coming days. My name is Daniel Sinek. I'm with tradingindicators.com. I am greeting you from our beautiful office here in downtown Montreal in Canada. And before we get into today's session, let me ask you a question. Where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have today in the room? Please put your location into the Q&A box. Who do we have today? Let me see. All right. John Ford from Austin, Texas. Hey, John, how are you? Yes, we've talked by email yesterday and I believe maybe this morning. Nice to see you, John. Who else do we have? So we have Texas, we have Montreal. Don't be shy. Put your location into the Q&A box. Tom from Chicago. Awesome. Michael from Germany. Hi, Michael. Wie geht's? Chris, Northern California. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you. We also talked a bit yesterday. John from Sag Harbor, New York. Hey, John, what's up? Larry from Chisholm, Maryland. Cool. I think that's the first one. Larry, are you joining us for the first time? John from Fort Collins, Colorado. Oh, John, by the way, we have another client. His name is Paige, and it turns out he's also from Fort Collins in Colorado. Bill from Houston, Texas, another Texan. Awesome. Keith from the Scottish border. All right. From the UK, I guess. KM from Connecticut. Windy and cool. Yes, it's also windy and cool here in Montreal. We had beautiful weather last week. I think we did have 20 degrees centigrade, which is really, really warm for the end of October, but now it's cold again. Gustavo from Argentina in the house. Awesome. Wow. Um, I hope it's getting warm in Argentina. I think the winter is nearing an end and now the summer is about to start. And Larry, many times he's been okay. Well, maybe sorry, Larry. Awesome. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for sharing your location. Um, and for those of you who are actually showing up today for the first time, we are tradingindicators.com. As mentioned, my name is Daniel Sinek. I'm the guy here on the left-hand side. I have created trading indicators together with Homa, my business partner, about 10 years ago. And Homa and I go back more than 20 years ago. If you believe it, we met in grad school in the same research lab. And ever since that, we bonded and created exciting projects and businesses together. And we also have Niklas with us on board today. Niklas will be looking out in the chat window. And if you guys have any questions, please don't be shy. Put them into the chat, and actually into the Q&A box, and Niklas will pay attention to those and bring them to my attention. And Niklas indeed has been the mastermind behind many of our recent trading indicators. Over the years, we've built almost 1,000 trading indicators for clients all over the world. We have clients in the US, in Canada, in Germany, in Europe, Asia, Australia, South America. It's really humbling and exciting to see you guys show up week after week to our webinars. So hopefully we are going to make it worth your while. And today, of course, it's all about scanning. So we not only build indicators, but we also build trading dashboards and trading scanners. And today we are going to use our very own Liquidity View scanner to find interesting setups for the week ahead. All these setups will be based purely on technical analysis, which is basically a pattern analysis of your price chart. And we believe that fundamentals, for the most part, are already priced into the chart. And by analyzing the price chart, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental information. This, however, does not mean that we are completely oblivious of any fundamental events. Of course, we do have the election coming up on Tuesday, which will, by no doubt, induce some volatility into the markets. So please be aware of this. Set your stops accordingly. Even perhaps consider getting into a trade perhaps only after the elections are over. All right. So also a quick reminder that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital. When it comes to hypothetical performance or backtest performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance. And any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar are for educational purposes only. This should not be construed as trade or financial advice. All right. So as mentioned, this is going to be an interactive session. So the more questions you have, the better it will be. The more similar requests you have, the better it will be. And today, just like in all our scanning sessions, we are going to use our Liquidity View dashboards. And the focus will be on finding high reward and low risk setups. What these are all about, I'm going to explain in a second. And if you don't have access to our dashboard yet, you can still follow along because this makes it a lot more interactive and you can, just follow along our process and our all the steps that we're taking. We do offer a 1-week free trial for the Liquidity View dashboard. Simply go to tradingindicators.com/view. And Niklas, please paste this link into the chat box. So if you go there, get your free trial, you will get instant access. This literally takes 1 minute, maybe less, to get you into the dashboard, and then you can follow along. And if you decide to stay on board, we have interesting monthly and yearly options. There's no contract, so you can cancel at any time. So there's no risk for you whatsoever. But of course, if you want to stay on board, or for longer, you can with these options. All right. So with this, let's see. Yeah, the free trial. Let's see what else we have. We have, if you don't have it yet, we'd like to offer you a free copy of our latest ebook. It's called The Power of Three. And in this ebook, we are explaining the 3 setups that we are going to focus on today. The bounce setup, the zone break setup, and the zone break retrace setup. It's a free ebook for you to download. You get a lot more information of what we can cover in these live sessions about all these setups, about why these are good setups, and why we believe these offer great trading opportunities with a high reward and low risk ratio. So I encourage you to take a peek at this brand new ebook of ours. All right. And one more thing before we really get into it, I'd like to point out that this is already our 4th live scanning session. It's been hugely successful. It's so much fun. I love doing these things. I think it's just, it flows very smoothly. And I also like the fact that we are doing it on the weekends, which is the best time to prepare for the week ahead. And more importantly, perhaps for us, is that, we were actually able to incrementally improve the scanner and the dashboard from session to session. And for this, we have used your feedback. So thank you so much, which is awesome. I think this is really where everything comes together and we are creating a win-win scenario. So for example, from session 1, we added a new feature which shows you in the scanner how long a setup has been present, for how many trading days. Done. From session 2, we added a new feature called trade notes. You can now annotate your symbols with text information. For example, hey, on this date, I had this idea about, going long here at this level with this stop loss and this take profit, for example. Implemented. From session 3, last week's session, we had another idea. And I believe we stumbled over this when we were looking at Trend Radar. Now it is possible This feature has just been implemented for a couple of days now. Now it is possible to actually scan for pullbacks, for healthy pullbacks within a strong uptrend or within a strong downtrend. This is done through our trend radar indicator and the scanner. So how this works, I'm going to show you in a second. And we can also now scan for an event called a liquidity capture, which is a high volume event, a bar which nears or goes near a support or resistance level, cannot penetrate it, and instead price bounces off. So this is an important technical event, and now you can scan for those events as well. All right, so this has been implemented as well. And we do not plan to stop anytime soon. So if you guys have any suggestions or feedback, please don't be shy. Put them into the Q&A box. There are no bad suggestions. So, there's no bad questions, there are only bad answers. It's the same for this one. If you have any suggestion, even if it's way out there, please put them into the Q&A box and we'll take a look. And if it's possible to do, we are doing our best to actually implement these features. Okay, so please don't be shy on this one. Next, we're going to focus today on high reward and low risk setups. And just a quick word of caution. Since we need to put a tight stop loss on these setups, this is how we are able to get these great reward to risk ratios. It may require several times. So don't be encouraged if you get stopped out. It's part of the game. But the beauty about these setups is that, if we hit our target, we are, making or profiting multiple times of what we would have lost on those setups. All right. All right. So, and we do actually have no sound. Chris, maybe that's you. Nicholas, do you guys hear me? Somebody said no sound. I believe I'm coming through. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think. Guys, if you can hear me, maybe put like a little one into the Q&A. Okay, sound is there. Yeah, Chris, I think it's on your end, unfortunately. Okay, so moving on. Next, our process. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to focus on 3 different setups: bounce, zone break, and zone break retrace. We're going to focus on one setup at a time. So we're going to filter for those setups. We're going to create a hot list of symbols. We're going to add those to our watch list. And then we're going to go through that watch list and annotate each setup with trade notes. Okay, so we're going to repeat this 3 times today. I'm going to start off with the bounce setup. Then we're going to cover the zone break setup and then the zone break retrace setup. And all of these are, high reward, low risk, exactly as indicated here on this little drawing. The reward is all the way out there, whereas our risk is all the way down here. Okay, so first setup is bounce. Bounce is all about the following. Price is approaching, now, for example, a support level. And the anticipation is that support will continue acting as support, and thus prevent price from penetrating this support level. And instead, this is where the name comes from, it will bounce off this level towards the middle in between support and resistance, exactly as shown here. This, of course, also works for the case where price is approaching a resistance level, and the anticipation would be price cannot penetrate resistance and instead will bounce once again towards the middle. And the beauty about this setup is that you can place your stop loss just below the support zone or just above this resistance zone. It's very nearby. And if it works out, you are looking to gain a multiple of what you would have risked on that trade. So this is setup number 1. Now, without further ado, let's move over to the dashboard and see if we can spot these setups. So I'm going to open up our dashboard, view.tradingindicators.com. This is our liquidity view dashboard. All right, so the first thing I'm going to point out real quick, without getting into any of the scans, is that we are currently tracking around 5,000 symbols, give or take. All right. many US stocks. There are lots of ETFs in there. We have a lot of cryptos in there. In fact, we have FX, we have indices, and we also have some futures in this dashboard. Okay, so this is what we're tracking. And always on your left-hand side, you have your scanner. So you can see it here. Perfect. On the right-hand side, you have your price chart. Very simply. And by default, the price chart will load two indicators onto the chart. The first one is, I'm going to disable this real quick. The first one is MA Rush. MA Rush is our trend indicator. It's going to become very important today, which indicates whether a particular stock is either trending up or trending down. So for example, here, if we look at this one here, oh boy, I mean, it doesn't take a PhD in finance to see that this stock is trending up. And this is also confirmed by our MA Rush indicator, which told us on, which day is this? December 15, 2020. Oh boy, this stock has been bullish and hasn't looked back since. All right, so this is an interesting stock. And you could have also just seen this in the scanner here. I put in the, if you look at Arch Capital, oh, it's not the right one. Which one was it? This one you have here. You could see it also here that this stock has been bullish for 976 trading days. I can see this directly in this MA Rush column. So this column here, MA Rush, mimics the MA Rush indicator here. This is really where the power comes in, because you no longer have to go from symbol to symbol to find, for example, stocks which are very bullish or very bearish. You can now simply scan for these things. You can see it directly in the scanner here, which is going to save you a lot of time. All right, so that's the first indicator on the chart, but the second one is just as important, which is our liquidity IQ indicator. So I'm just going to quickly hide MA Rush so we can focus on this indicator. All right, so we see here, for example, that this stock recently broke above resistance. We can see this resistance level here. We had a nice follow through. Price then retraced back to this broken resistance level. In this case, this broken resistance level was not acting as support, but I believe we had earnings coming up, so there was definitely an earnings event here. We gapped down just below this level, and since that level was broken, then the next logical target for this downwards move would be the support level down here. This is what this indicator shows you. And ever since, we have now been trading nearby, for example, this support level. You can see prices just hovering above this support level. And you can see this on the price chart, but perhaps more importantly, you can also see this in the scanner. And this is where this liquidity IQ setup column comes in. So in here, you can directly see, okay, this stock, Arch Capital Group Ltd, is currently in a long bound setup. And we can even see for how many bars, for how many trading days, this stock has been in the setup. So in this case, exactly 1 day. And this can be easily seen on the price chart as well, where we just Friday, just yesterday, it went close enough to this support level to be near enough for a long bound setup. Before this, we were kind of in the middle between support and resistance. Okay, and all this can be seen here in the price chart. All right, so with that, let's start our scanning process. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will clear up all my filters. That's good. And we're going to start filtering. So I'm clearing this out, and we are down to our 4,942 stocks. And the first thing we are going to filter by is indeed our long bound setup. So I'm going to click on this filter icon here. And if you don't see this little filter, make sure you click this green button on the right-hand side, which can be used to enable or disable this filter icon. If it's disabled, it just makes it look a bit cleaner and less cluttered. But I personally, I have it always enabled because, it's such an important part of the scanning process. So you want to have it enabled mostly. So I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to filter here, and I'm going to select the first setup in here, the long bounds setup. Long bounds means this stock or filter for stocks which are currently near a support level. And why did we call it long bounce? Because it's hopefully going to bounce off this support level to the long side. And we also have short bounce down here, which filters for stocks which are currently trading at a resistance level. And here the idea would be that price will be bouncing off to the short side, therefore short bounce. But for now, let's focus on long bounce. Select it. And if you scroll down, we can see that we are down to only 719 stocks now. So we filtered, more than 4,000 stocks away. Perfect. So let's look at the first one. This one, Agilent Technology. And we can see that indeed we are trading right now near a support level. Let's go to the next one. This one, whatever this is, Acadia Pharmaceuticals. We've been trading also near support level. And indeed, you can see here, for this one, we actually have been trading since 5 trading days near a support level. ACB, also near support level, and so forth and so forth. So you're getting the point. Okay, so that's step number 1. But is this enough? In my opinion, not yet. Because let's just take this example here. And this is an extreme example. ACB symbol, Aurora Cannabis Inc. So just like most cannabis stock, also this one, this stock has been incredibly bearish forever and ever. So the whole hype about cannabis stocks, completely went away, and this stock is trading now, at a very low price. But it's been bearish for 1,301 trading days. I can't even see it here on the chart when this bearish trend started. So support levels, you can see these arrows down facing down here, have been broken multiple times over and over again. And since this stock, even though it's been consolidating for quite some time now here, I don't have a lot of conviction this stock will not break this support level either and bounce off instead. So this is not the ideal candidate. It's too bearish. The sentiment is just so bearish. So instead, we want to focus on setup where the trend is also going upwards at the same time. I'm just seeing a healthy pullback within that trend. So let's now go to our MA Rush filter here. This one, which is filtering for our trend information, will only filter by bullish stocks. Done. All right, so now we're down to only 170. That's much less. So now we only have bullish stocks. We're going to do one more thing. We want to focus on the stocks which have been bullish for the longest time. So I'm going to sort now by the number of trading days a stock has been bullish. The first candidate that's coming up, and we're going to talk about this column here in a second, is Marsh and McLennan. Okay, I'm going to click on it, and we see a beautifully bullish stock. MA Rush is very bullish here. I actually really like this one. It's quite smooth the way it works. So this is it's kind of the best candidates. We recently made highest highs. We broke above this resistance. We broke above this formerly resistance level. We're making higher highs, but ever since we've had several retracements. Look how beautiful this one worked out here. But price almost to the T, oh boy, went to our resistance level of 232.16 around. So price actually went to where is it? To 32.30. So very close, beautiful bounce off. This would be a short bounce. And now we are trading near the support zone. All right. So, and in addition to all this, it sometimes coincides, we also have a level 4 pullback as per our trend radar indicator. So this is a new feature we have just added. And this feature relates to this indicator down here, which is our trend radar indicator. So, and sometimes it shows a number like this, 4, or sometimes 3 or whatever. And a level 4 pullback means that we are bullish. That's why this is a green number. So the long-term trend is the last row here in trend radar. It's green. That means the long-term trend is bullish. But recently, we have seen a pullback in the shorter-term trends. The very short one, the medium-term trends, and the bit longer than this. This is why, and 4 levels of trend radar, even though the last one is green, are red. This is exactly what is being picked up here as a level for pullback. And as a trend trader, a pullback, a healthy pullback, is your best friend. You don't want to enter into a trend trade when everything's overextended. Why? Because oftentimes a reversion to the mean is in order after such a big move up. And you want to wait for this pullback to happen. And if this coincides with a support level, just like here, I think good things will happen. So we're going to put this down as our first interesting stock of today. It's March and McLennan, long entry at 219. So for this, I'm going to actually create a brand new watch list. So long bounce. Oops. And while I'm typing this, Nicholas, are there any questions? I think Nicholas might be muted. So long bounce. And I'm actually going to go through a couple of questions here. So Dave, right now we cannot scan for MA crossovers, but perhaps we're going to consider this. We're thinking about adding some MA components into our mix as well. N wants to know, like to filter for country and sector. That's in the works already, and so we're going to release such a feature in a couple of weeks. It's a bit harder to implement than you may think to retrieve information, but yes, that's in the works. Yeah, and Dennis has a similar column about the sectors and the industry groups. Yes, so this is coming as well, Dennis. All right, what time frame to use? This is an end of day scanner, so you will use the daily time frame. Okay, perfect. Kevin, I'm not sure what you mean by your comment to adjust the scene. Please clarify. Yeah, the MA rush signal is this it's this signal here which MA rush shows. I had this in the beginning. It's this one. And by the way, I have to scroll back a long time because this stock has been bullish forever. Sorry. There we go. It's this signal here. So you can scan for stocks which currently have a sentiment shift, for example. So this is what this is all about. By the way, guys, these two indicators, Liquidity IQ and MA Rush, these also exist for the standard trading platforms like Trading View or Ninja Trader or Modern Wave and so forth. So if you're a day trader, this is a swing trading session, but if you are a day trader, you can get those indicators for other platforms as well. Just contact us and we'll let you know how to do this. Larry wants to know how to find the next earnings date. Yeah, for this, Larry, you need to enable the column first. You go all the way to the left here to the column configurator. This one here. And you can see by default, many columns are not enabled, but earnings date is one of them. You click on it. And once done, you see the next earnings date populated here. Larry. Perfect. What are my other books? For this, please send us an email. We have to take this one offline as to which other ebooks we have. And Robert, yes, we have, Robert, this dashboard out here for quite some time now. I think we're probably like 4 months in. It's our Liquidity View dashboard featuring some of our key indicators, Liquidity IQ, MA Rush, Trend Radar, and so forth. Can you put the chart at the bottom of the scan? No, Brian, currently that's not possible. So the layout will always be like this, but you can change the dimensions of it a little bit. You see this here? So that's something you can do. All right. Wealth charts, we have our power bundle for wealth charts and Trend Radar. Liquidity IQ and MA Rush we currently don't have for wealth charts. Yeah, and Anne wants to, so I'm going to answer many questions. Anne wants to know, how can you save a filter search like this one? The best way to do this, Anne, is to create a dynamic watch list. A dynamic watch list is based on your filter criteria. So if you click Add Dynamic Watch List here, give it a name like long bounce, bullish stocks, also let's say symbols because we're tracking more than just stocks. You say create, and once done, and this watch list is created, and you can see it here in the drop down, long bounce bullish symbols. Whenever you select this watch list here, it will have these filters created. Yeah, Robert says he likes the dashboard. Awesome. Okay, guys, so let's move on. Okay, so we have thanks for your questions, by the way. Awesome. Let's move on. So we have Marsh and McLennan identified as our first interesting stock for the week ahead. So what I'm gonna do, I will create a new watch list. So I'm gonna go down here, create new watch list. I'm gonna call this one 2024 1102. Actually, you know what? Instead of creating a separate watch list for every setup we're gonna go to, I'm just gonna call interesting setups. We're gonna go through them later on, just to save a little bit of time. So I'm gonna create this one. I'm gonna add this first stock to our interesting setups watch list. Done. Awesome. Perfect. So this is available. And I'm gonna go through these questions just a bit later. Okay, so nice one. And earnings are coming out, yeah, quite only in January. So we don't have much volatility there. But of course, we have the elections on Tuesday. So whatever you do, you have to be extra careful with what's going on next week. Next one, Republic Services Inc. Oh, that's a nice one too. Look at this one. A beautiful stock, long-term bullish. Another one with actually, let me hide the date column here. Another one with just a second. Just gonna hide this. Another one with a level 4 pullback. You can see it here. So trend radar is 4 levels down. It's a very bullish stock. Bullish since 1072 trading days. And this one just has had earnings. So that was on maybe Wednesday or so. Earnings took place. This is why this is grayed out. So these earnings are not coming up. So this is good. So earnings are out of the way. And let's see what happened here. So we did have a big gap up. I guess this is when the earnings happened. Let me just quickly see. On the 30th. Yeah. So here earnings happened. We first went up, then down a lot when the market completed. And now we are trading near this support zone. So to me, that's also an interesting stock for a nice low risk, high reward entry for this particular symbol. So I'm going to also add this one to our watch list of interesting setups. Done. And let's do one more. And I believe we had AutoNation last week when we did the scanning. Oh, no, we did not. We actually did not. And look at this one. How beautiful some of these support levels are holding up on this resistance level. Up, bounce, down to support, bounce up again to the T almost to this resistance level, down again to the support level. And now we are trading still nearby. And I believe this could also be an interesting candidate, even though this pullback is much, much deeper than the other ones that we saw. And we can see it here, that trend radar is actually all the way bearish here, even to the lowest level. And this is why you don't see a level 4 pullback or something. In this pullback column, you see a little dash because everything is red. We don't have, a healthy pullback. This pullback is a little bit too steep. Nonetheless, I'm going to add this anyways to our shortlist because it still looks interesting. It's definitely range bound, but we are near the support level. Overall, it's bullish since 10,000, sorry, 1,060 trading days. And, this could still be an interesting setup for next week. And perhaps one more, Penske Automotive also just had earnings recently. Yeah, trading nearby support. This is very volatile. This to me is, it's definitely range bound. Doesn't, once again, take a PhD in finance to see this. I'd like to have a stock where we have more recent directionality and just a recent pullback, because this to me it's too much contemplation going on ever since this highest high here, since November last year. It's almost been for a year in a range bound scenario. I'm gonna skip this one. Some of you maybe like to trade these ones because it's range bound and and there's definitely some money to be made, but personally not my cup of tea. There's so many other symbols we could look at. All right, so this is for the bounce setups. Any questions? And I see lots of questions coming in. Yeah, if Trump wins, DJT will rally. Tesla too. Yeah, yeah. All right. A filter for sectors, Robert. That's something in the making. We are working on a filter for sectors. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to our next setup for today. The next one, I'm going to switch over to my slides real quick. The next setup is the zone break setup. So let's see what this setup is all about. It is also a low risk, high reward setup. And in this case, a zone break is as follows. And zone breaks can happen to the downside and to the upside. So if a support level is broken, we can see it here, price broke this support level. Oftentimes, we see a nice follow through in the direction of the breakout. And this is exactly what the zone break is all about. Nothing will last forever. Eventually, every level, every resistance level, every support level is broken. And if this happens, oftentimes we see a nice follow through, especially, and this is important, especially if there are no other levels nearby, no other support levels. We basically have the abyss below. There's nothing stopping us from falling further. Or in the case of the bullish case, when resistance is broken and there's no other resistance level above, we have blue skies ahead. Oftentimes we see a nice follow through. Guess what? You can also scan for these setups using our dashboard. So one more time, I'm going to go back to our liquidity view dashboard. You can see it here. And I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to go in here and I will clear up all my filters. I'm going to go back to end of day scanner and I will clear the filters by clicking on this little red icon. Oh, yeah, red. Sorry. Yellow button here. Oh boy. It's my second webinar this morning, so I can see I'm a little bit tired out, so to say, but nonetheless very motivated. So I'm going to click on this yellow button here, and we're back to our 4,942 stocks. And by the way, guys, we are looking to add a lot more stocks to the mix. So we're probably going to add about 2,000 or 3,000 more symbols, giving us even more power to the dashboard. All right, so filters are cleared, and we're going to go back one more time to our liquidity IQ setup column here. I click on filter, and in this case, we're going to filter for the long break setup. And by the way, guys, just because for the sake of time, we are going to focus only on long setups today. I believe stocks do have an upside bias. And personally, I prefer trading stocks to the upside. But of course, everything can be replicated also to the downside. So all these long setups also have, a counterpart for the short version. You can see it here. Okay, so let's focus on the long break setup. I click on it, and we are immediately down to only 371 stocks. All right, and let's just see what came up. So let's just click on this one here, APP. And this is going to be important. So I'm clicking on this one. We can see, yes, indeed, we are trading above resistance. But would you really enter long into this trade right now? Because this move already happened. Look at this beautiful up move. This, had you traded this here, would have been phenomenal. But now it's a bit too late to the game. Now we're super overextended. It is not unlikely that we're going to see a deep correction of this big bullish move. And in fact, if you look carefully here at our scanner, you can see that we do have this zone break happened 34 trading days ago. So if you count up these bars, 1, 2, 3, whatever, you'll see that this zone break here happened exactly 34 days ago. And this is why the duration feature of the setup is so important, because it shows you how, in quotes, fresh a setup is. Let's go to a very extreme example. This one here, Midstream Inc. Zone break happened 128 days ago, and the stock hasn't looked back since. Wow, look at this. But also super, super extended. So this is, once again, too late to the game. It looks beautiful. I love looking at these charts, and I kind of think, oh, what if I had traded the stock or whatever? So we can find these beautiful bullish stocks, but would you trade this right now? Probably not. It's too extended. You want to wait for a pullback. And in fact, just a side note, we can even now see what is the degree of the pullback. So right now, for this stock here, which is trading since 128 trading days above resistance, the pullback is only a level 1 pullback. You can see it here. Meaning that trend radar, only the first level is reddish here. That's not a deep pullback. At the minimum, I'd like to scan for pullbacks like of this degree here, 3 levels down. Like this, you can see price going down here within a strong uptrend. It coincided very nicely with our MA rush line here too. That could have been a great opportunity to re-enter long into this trade. But this is, it's still too overextended here. Okay. Now, with that, I am going to now do something. I'm going to sort this column, which only shows long break setups, by the duration of the setup, which lets us focus on how fresh the setup is. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to sort from low to high. So this is another extreme stock. Broke out 252 days ago. You'll see another crazy overextended setup. But I want to focus on the other ones. The ones where the setup just recently happened. All right. Perfect. So, and I want to do one more thing, just like with the bounce setup, I only want to focus on stocks which have been bullish overall for a long time. So I'm going to go to our MA rush column here and put on the bullish filter as well. And the first one that comes up now, so let's see how many stocks we have. Setups we have 364. The first one that comes up, number 1 is Quanta Services. All right. All right. And actually, now that I'm seeing this, we will publish a new modification to this counting number here very soon, probably for next week. Because you may ask yourself the question, oh, it says 1, but I can clearly see we broke above resistance more than 1 bar ago. But there's an explanation for this. Let me quickly explain to you. We're going to change this, but at least now you can you understand why it shows up as number 1 here. So what happened here? By the way, this is a beautiful, nice setup. Okay, so we broke above resistance. Stock has been trending up since, but then I believe this was earnings. Earnings came in. Maybe not. Maybe something else happened. What is this PWI? I know earnings are indicated. We gapped down. And Friday, no, the day before Friday, on Thursday, this bar closed off nearby this resistance level, which was broken previously. At this point, this was classified as a zone break retrace setup. It only lasted for 1 bar. It's a very powerful setup. We're going to cover this in 5 minutes or so. But then on Friday, price went up again. This is what typically happens after a zone break retrace. And on Friday, we were too far away to still be in this zone break retrace scenario. And instead, we're now back to a zone break scenario. So since this change of state, since this being zone break retrace to zone break, it's been 1 bar ago. That's why you see a 1 here. I think this is not the best indication. I want to, what we're going to do in the future, is change this number so it indicates when we actually broke above this resistance level. This makes it, I think, more useful. So please stay tuned for this modification. And I think this improvement of the dashboard for the week or the next 2 weeks. But nonetheless, that's an interesting one. So I'm going to add this one to our interesting setups column. Done. Next on the list is RLI Corp. All right, so here we do have this zone break event. It looks a bit the same as the zone break retrace. You went above resistance, now retraced, now we're trading at this level. And the reason why this is a zone break arrow is because we were below this level here and then we broke above. Okay, so let me just quickly see what's going on here. Yeah, it's a nice bullish stock, but a bit too volatile for my taste. There's lots of back and forth throughout. I'm gonna skip this one. RLI Corp. IBM. And IBM has the exact same problem with the number 1 line here. Beautiful zone break. Wow, look at this. Big earnings gap on that was, I think, the week before last week. Big gap down. It continued going down. It neared this broken resistance zone, now acting as support. And then as of Friday, it was too far away. Therefore, a zone break of level 1. Definitely a great symbol. I think this is very bullish. This was just a healthy correction. It's a level 4 pullback. You can see it here too. We're going to add this one to our interesting setups. All right. And for all Forex traders out there, let's also look at, just for the fun of it, at our next symbol, USD CAD. Okay, FX. What do we have here? Oh, that's an interesting one. So this actually is the setups I was looking for. So it's very bullish. Yeah, US dollar has gained strength over the Canadian dollar, which is yeah, you can see here. Well, even though this is very range bound, but overall it's been bullish. Recently, we managed to break above this resistance level. You can see it here. We had 2 attempts, but we're now trading above resistance. So if you believe that this, and again, elections coming up and so forth, if you believe that this now could be a sustained move to the upside, you may want to enter long into this FX trade with your stop loss just below this resistance level. And you'd bet on the fact that, hey, since now we've taken out resistance and there's no other resistance level on top, you can see here, it's blue skies, clear skies ahead, this move might be sustained. So I'm going to add this to our list real quick. Interesting setups. Done. All right. So this stock also has been added. And let me see, before we go to our next and last setup for today, do we have any questions? Big zone breakdown on Wednesday. Yeah, we did have a bit of a big correction last week. A correction I believe we all were waiting for. All the indexes have been so overextended, and a reversion to the mean was in order. We saw a bit of it on Thursday. Friday, pretty much unchanged. But yeah, there was definitely some correction in the market. But of course, elections coming up. We don't know what's going to happen next Tuesday. John wants to know, is there a filter setting to search for setups in between a price range? Yes, John, let me show you. Okay, so we finished this setup. I'm going to get to the next one in a second. How can you define a price window? All right, so what you do, John, you go to price here. And this particular filter box has a multiple selection option. So what you can do, for example, is you can select filter for stocks greater than $10 and perhaps less than $50. You can click on both, see both being selected here. And as a result, you now have a filter to the downside and the upside. You're creating a price window, so to say. You made my point on ACO that you just showed. Okay, cool. Awesome. And yeah, about USD CAD, we're gonna go through these interesting stocks one by one at the end, and I'm gonna give you my point of view on these ones. Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on back to my slides. Our last setup for today, and personally, and I don't want to bias anyone. It's a personal preference. Every trader is different. Every trader has different, preferences. But my favorite setup is this one here. The best for the last. Zone break retrace. Let me quickly explain to you why that is. So a zone break retrace is very rare. First of all, it doesn't happen very often, but if it does, it can be very, very good. So in this case, we had a zone break to the upside. Resistance was broken. Here, you can see the price trading now above resistance. And when this happens, oftentimes resistance will become support. And we probably have heard it all before. Resistance can become support and support can become resistance. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. Price initially went up, but then it took a pause. It fakes you out a little bit. Price retraces back down to this broken resistance level. But now since resistance has switched roles of support, this is now acting as support, preventing price from going further down. And instead, then the breakout move really accelerates. And this is exactly what this zone break retrace setup is all about. Initial zone break, retracement, resistance acting as support, and then the move really takes off. So let's see how we can scan for this setup. So once again, I'm going to clear my filter criteria. All right. And I'm going to go back to my liquidity IQ setup column here. And I will select long break retrace. Done. And if you now look down here, we are now down to only 38 stocks. 38 stocks out of 4,942 are currently in the setup. So I wasn't lying to you when I said this is a very rare setup. But, oftentimes the things that are most rare, that are the rarest, are the best ones, most precious ones. Okay, so let's just look at an example here. Errors management. Yeah, exactly what it is. Look at this. Zone break, price retraced back to this broken resistance zone, which is now acting as support. And oftentimes price will take off from this point on. But what we also want to do is to once again use our MA rush column here. So first of all, I'm going to only filter for bullish stocks. And oftentimes, these stocks are already bullish because we broke above resistance. That was already a very bullish move. So no change here. But now I want to sort once again by the duration of the bullish trend. And the first one that comes up is this one here, ANET, Arista Networks Inc. A hugely bullish stock. Bullish since 1001, 1001, funny, trading days. And, if I were to scroll back all the way, Jesus, look at this, how bullish this stock is. Here, since November 2020, this stock has been bullish, almost parabolic at times. So hugely bullish. But recently, can see it here. Yeah, we have had a zone break, and see it here, zone break arrow. Price initially went up, but then retraced back to the broken resistance zone. And it would have been amazing on Thursday, this was Thursday, to enter at this level, because now on Friday we already had this bullish move happening. But I think it's not too late to re-enter long into the stock. It's such a hugely bullish stock. Your stop loss would be just below this resistance level here, which is now acting as support. And your anticipation is that you will make all-time highs with this symbol. I'm going to add this one nonetheless to my interesting setups watch list. Errors management, we had this just recently. Yeah, nice one too. We broke out, big bar down. We are closer in this case to this resistance zone, now acting as support. I'm going to add this one to our watch list. And perhaps one more, United Rentals. Beautiful. Look at this. Zone break, initial up, retraced, and here we are down, smack down the middle in this broken resistance level. So this could be an even more interesting stock to enter long, because we are right here. This is exactly what I'd like to see. Price is right at this broken resistance level. Our stop loss would just be here, just below. And we could anticipate a move higher off this level. So I'm going to also add this one to our list of interesting setups. Perfect. So let's keep it as this. I think we have like 8 or 9 stocks to the long side, which are of interest. And before we go through these one by one to see which one is perhaps the best one, let's see if there's some questions. Yeah, Robert says zone break retrace has high probability. I believe so. So this is my favorite. I've traded this over and over again, time and time again, many, many times. And John said, and also Robert said, look at YM. Okay, one more. Yeah. Wow, we had these are the daily futures. We had this gap down. I guess these are only the regular trading days, right at, that's a beautiful one too, right at this support level here. Yeah, perfect. Sometimes, and this is our data provider, for some reason, the candles don't look quite right. At least the open price, but the close price should be right of these candles. So I believe yesterday's candle was a bit bigger than this one here. This is typically corrected after 1 or 2 days retroactively, but the setup remains valid. Nice zone break, retrace to support. You can anticipate a move to the upside. All right. Perfect. All right. So now with that, let's focus on our interesting setups list. Oh, I'm going to clear all these filters, and we can see we have 9 symbols in here. Perfect. So these are all bullish setups. Let's go through these setups one by one and see, which one perhaps we like the best out of these. And I'm going to do one more thing because I'm, naturally a little bit lazy. I'm going to enable a feature in our liquidity IQ indicator, which will show us our stop loss and our suggested profit target right on the price chart. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to this option here, show target long and show stop long. So these two things. We're only going to focus on the long side in this case. And by doing this, we can see now these two levels here. A stop loss line for a particular symbol and a target line up here too. Okay. And you can also see how far is the stop loss away from current price. You can see 1.61% to the downside. And the target would be 3.22% from current price, giving us roughly a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio in this case. Okay, so I'm going to go here to our first one here, Quanta Services Inc. Yes, so this one, and just give me 1 second. I think I need to scroll back a little bit. I'm not sure why the stop is not showing right now. Oh, that's because maybe we didn't implement this for the long break case. I believe so. Okay, so nonetheless, let's have a quick look at the stock. Quanta Services. To me, honestly, it's too far away now from this broken resistance level. I would stay away from this one. It's too far away. Where this move already is taking place. So even though we have a nice pullback here, I'd like to see this pullback to come down further here before I would consider a long entry. So I'm going to move over to the next one. MMC, Marsh at McLennan. Yes, that one bullish for 1,102 days. We have a long bounce set up. Our stop would just be here at 1.53. Oh, sorry, 1.53. At 215.76, 1.53% below current price. Long target all the way up here at the minimum, just below this resistance level. And this would give us actually a little trick for those of you who don't know this yet. If you hover over this little eye icon here, you can see that you can see these exact same levels too for your target and stop in this tooltip. And at the very end, you see this RR 2.98. That means your reward to risk ratio with these targets and stops in relation to current price is currently at 2.98, so almost 3. So this does this calculation for you. Although, of course, it's a very simple calculation. So this is an interesting one. So I think that stock we definitely should keep on our radar. Actually, put this down here in our notes section. So today is it is the 2nd of November. So long entry. I'm going to use the stop just exactly as the indicator suggested at 215.76 and take profit at 229.05 and the entry around current market price at 219. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to keep this note here. This is our notes feature. We have, by the way, guys, we have big plans for this notes feature. It's in the works. It's a bit more complex to implement, but the idea is that you can keep a record of your notes. So right now you only have, you have 1 notes, but I want to timestamp these notes. So for example, for this stock, maybe you took some notes, today, and maybe 3 weeks ago, or maybe 1 year ago, and so forth. It will keep a record of this. And then we're going to have a feature that I'm super excited about this to export all your notes to PDF or some other medium, or maybe to the web. And this will give you a trade journal. And probably you have heard about journaling, learning from the past. This will be one of the objectives of this. I think this could be super, super useful. Anyways, stay tuned for this. It's in the works. This takes a bit longer to implement. And by the way, with a feature to also add a snapshot of your chart to a journal entry. So that's also in the making. Anyways, All right. Boy, so many questions. I'm gonna try to find yeah, I have to read through this. Okay, next one. Republic Services. All right. Yes. Also a nice long bounce setup. A hugely bullish stock. I like this one too. For a long entry. Of course, elections and so forth. But I'm gonna keep this one down also as a potential long entry candidate when the market opens on Monday, based on the fact that once again we are just down in this support zone. Our stop loss is fairly nearby, and with a great reward to risk ratio. So I'm gonna add this one too. You actually can see here my trade note from last week. This was from last Saturday. What did we say here? 198.50 long entry. So price is still around the same level. Like, oh, I was here. Was this last week? No, it was not. It was here, I guess. So it was still around the same level. Um, Stop loss around 196. I'm gonna lower it a bit to 194. And yep, that's a nice long uptrending stock. So here I'm gonna just modify this. That's the only way to do this right now. So second long entry. It's gonna end by market at 197.69. All right, stop loss at 194.65. Once again, guys, this is a super tight stop loss. And if there's volatility in the market, this could be seen as a risky trade. Target at 205.65. All right, perfect. Interesting one. Alternation. What do we have here? This is also a long bounce stock. Let's just have a quick look. Why this is loading? I think my Wi-Fi is getting a little bit slow. Let me just do a quick look. Robert says timestamp is a good idea. How do you get the price levels? The indicator determines these price levels automatically based on where the nearby zones are. Okay. And what is the ATR of the stock? Because if it's, what's the volatility? So these are calculated dynamically. But the idea is to, put your stop loss below a support level if it's a long trade, and your target just below a resistance level. Perfect. Let me just reload this real quick, and I hope I did not lose. Oh, there we go. Alternation is here. Perfect. Okay, I think I lost my internet for a second. Boy, that's an interesting one too. Look at how beautiful these bounces from resistance happened here. It is a bit range bound. I have a feeling for this one, of course I might be wrong, that we're gonna see volatility and it's gonna spike through this level when we have the elections next week. I'm gonna stay away from this one. Okay, perfect. Next, RSV. So we had all the bounces. Let's do next our let's do IBM. I liked IBM a lot. So that one, I think we will see. I mean, a fill of this earnings gap here the next couple of weeks. That's my feeling for IBM. So price going up all the way here. This is supported by the fact that we were super bullish for 895 days. We just had a healthy retracement. It's a level 4 pullback, nothing more than this. We are near a resistance level. So I think this can be a very good opportunity to re-enter into this bullish move after this big breakdown. So yeah, I'm gonna add IBM. I just like it. I used to work for IBM back in the day, so maybe there's a bit of a bias there. So today is 2024 11/02, long entry. I mean, I would like to see price to go down a little bit further, but I'm just gonna say call it out at around 210. Stop loss at 194.86. 94.86, and take profit at 235, just below the all-time highs, 0.2, giving us a nice 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Perfect. All right. Next one, PWR, Quanta Services. Yeah, for this one, I'm going to stay away. You know why? We had the stone break here, a bit of a retracement, but we are too far away from this broken resistance level we're still very overextended. I would not be surprised to see a further move down. So for this, I'm gonna stay away. USD CAD. Yes, I'm not a Forex trader by any means. So um, especially not a Forex swing trader. Not my cup of tea personally, but you may argue that, hey, perhaps after this zone was broken, we may see a move further up. If I were to trade this just with a very small lot size, maybe a micro lot or a mini lot, so your risk is minimal. Forex are cyclic and not as trending as other symbols. So yeah, but yeah, you could bet on the fact that this would move further up. Your stop was just below this level here, and your target around 141. It's not unheard of that this may happen. All right. But I'm not gonna personally not gonna engage into this trade. All right, so at PWR we had these two long breaks. Now let's look at the long break retrace ones, my favorite. Okay, so the first one here we have this one, Arista Networks. Yes, beautiful stock. Ah, sorry. I mean, too bad we didn't enter on Thursday. We had this gap down, I guess, no earnings, whatever the reason for this gap was. Gap down, this gap fill now just happened. So gap tend to be filled. I think this move will take off from here on. If you were to enter here, would be entering at current market levels with the anticipation that this will make all-time highs. If you stop loss just below support around 368. A bit too far away. Not the ideal one, but if you were to trade this, let's put a note here real quick. 2024, 11. Oops. There we go. 1102. Long entry at current market levels at around, what do we have here? 395, something like this. Stop loss just below here at I guess 365. And the idea is to have at least a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So your profit target, and if you have 30 points, maybe at 425. But I believe this can even go higher, like 440 and so forth. All right. So this is for Anet. Let's look at the next one, Aris Management here. Yeah, nice one here. Went all the way down here, then it retraced a bit on Friday, but same thing to me. A nice stock. Let me just switch on my profit targets real quick. Are they on? Okay. A nice stock with which is very near this broken resistance level. Great opportunity with a level 3 pullback. You can see it here. So same thing here. I'm gonna say long entry at around 163. Stop loss just below this level here at around 150. And in this case, I would say the profit target, this one looks like it's going to break out to make all-time highs. I think levels of 180 this year, later this year, I'm not out of the question. So I'm going to close this one too. And one more, United Rentals, URI. Look at this one. It's a very expensive stock, but you don't have to buy too many of those. A nice level 3 pullback, a very bullish stock right at this level. Actually, this probably would be my favorite because we're in very nearby. Our stop loss would just be a couple of points away at 769 with a profit target, moderate profit target here, but I think also this one is bound to make all-time highs at around maybe 895. I think it's not out of the question. Just below the psychological number of 900. So we're going to also annotate this one here. Long entry at 789. Oops. There we go. Take profit all the way. I think 895 is not out of the question. And stop loss, just as indicated by our level here at 769. 769, giving us a great reward to risk ratio here as well. All right. So yeah, these are my picks for the week to come. But of course, keep in mind, elections are coming up on Tuesday, which, God knows what will happen to the markets when the elections are done. Okay. So I'm going to attend all your questions in a second, but I really want to quickly go back to my slides and remind you to download your ebook. And let me just quickly check if the link is in the chat. Just open up the chat window here. So I'm going to paste this into the chat as well. So free ebook. It's available here. Let's write this in real quick. tradingindicators.com/power of free. 1 second, guys. All right. So, okay, I'm just gonna quickly test it because I just typed it in. I couldn't copy paste it. I'm gonna quickly test if this link works. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm gonna paste this right now in. This has been pasted. And the next reminder is, so once you've downloaded this ebook, come on board and try out our dashboard completely free for 1 week. No contract whatsoever. And all you need to do is to go to tradingindicators.com/view. And this link has been already pasted into the chat box. And of course, you can cancel at any time. All right. So now let me go through some of the questions. Oh boy, and Kevin, I need to take this away. This is too long of a message from me. Maybe send it to me by email if you can. I can't read this now. Yeah, Chris, for the Fallen Angels filters, this is something that we need to take away to an Acorn webinar where these are covered. So this is not part of the scan today. So we take this away when we can do this with either of Acorn or Johnny Savile, but it's not part of today's scanning. And it's just very exciting. Can't wait. Awesome. Ray, is this session recorded? Yes, this session is recorded. And in fact, it will be uploaded to our home YouTube page. What you need to do is simply go to tradingindicators.com. And let me just show you real quick. If you do that, so tradingindicators.com, go here. This is our home page. And if this loads, oh boy, I think we have too much traffic on our page. It's a bit slow in loading, but if this ever loads, you will see a little YouTube icon in the top right corner. There we go. Oh boy. You see it here. Click on this one, and this brings you directly to our YouTube page. And in here, you can see that all these live market scanning sessions will be uploaded to this section here, live market scanning. So you can expect this video to be uploaded there later on today. All right, perfect. Okay, and Kevin, I'm not sure what you mean by this, but let me quickly go back to the dashboard. There we go. You said you were cutting off the timer at the bottom, so I can adjust to show it. You just scroll down. So you just go to the scanner here or like in the middle and scroll down. You can also use your cursor keys to scroll. You see this here? This is how you can see the timeline. All right. Yeah, there's some correlations in FX pairs, Robert. Yeah. Yeah, we both have IBM connections. Okay, yeah, and yeah, please do that. How do you turn on the dynamic watch list? Okay, great question. So first of all, dynamic watch lists are only available if you are on the end of day scanner. So first of all, you have to go here to end of day. All right. So if you remember, dynamic watch lists are based on filter criteria. So another thing you need to do is to filter for something. If nothing is filtered, you cannot create a dynamic watch list. So let's say we filter for, I don't know, long break retrace setups. As soon as there's at least one filter on the end of day scanner, this button here will, and then you can create a dynamic watch list like long break retrace. And this watch list will, dynamically populate with new symbols, and symbols will be removed as per market conditions. For note taking, Yes, yeah, we have a lot of ideas for note taking. It's just, as you mentioned, this is a more complex feature. But yeah, this is in the works, Laura. Thank you for the suggestion. All right. Robert says, great idea for a trial. You do that first. Perfect. Yeah, please try it out. We want this to be available for everyone to test. This is why we are offering this 1 week free trial. So you can try it out yourself, see if you find it useful. We hope you do. And what we can guarantee you is that we're going to have these live scanning sessions regularly. Typically at least once every 1 or 2 weeks, and so you can learn tips and tricks, learn about new features that we are adding. So this we've had added so many features since we started this dashboard project based on your feedback. And today, once again, I got amazing feedback like scanning and filtering for sectors or industry groups, like having a more refined zone break counter. I guess I stumbled about that feature and so forth. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for this. All right, awesome. Okay, guys, I think this is pretty much it. I know there were some longer questions in there. I cannot read all through this. This is too much to read during a live session. But Kevin, or anybody really who I overlooked today, I apologize for this. Please just send us a note. Go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com. In the main menu, you see a contact icon. Click on it. It will open up a contact form and just put your question there. This will go straight to my inbox and we'll make sure to get back to all of your questions as soon as we can. Perfect. So let me just see one quick look if there's some last minute questions here. Kevin, no, you should be. I'm not sure what you're seeing. There's another trick you can do, Kevin, for seeing the timeline down here, this one. If you are in your browser, Kevin, go to the top right corner. You see these three dots here. Click on this and make the zoom a bit less. So maybe you have a very high zoom level. Put it a little less, and it should. No, I thought it would bring in this timeline. So what I typically do, I go to the right here. See this here? I use my mouse wheel to scroll down. You see this? This is just done by mouse wheel. You also see the scroll bar all the way on the right here. You can use this one too to bring down this chart a little bit further. So I hope this works. All right, cool guys. With that, happy trading. Stay safe. I will be heading out to Singapore tonight for the Singapore FinTech Festival. And I know we do have some Singaporeans here, so if you have any suggestions what to do there, let me know by email. Or if you want to meet up at the Singapore Festival, I'd be happy to do so. Just drop me an email, reach out to us via our contact form. And I hope we're going to be having our webinars from there. So let me get there first. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our next webinars already. We have our Lunch and Learn on Tuesday and hopefully, time permitting, another scanning session next Saturday or next weekend. With that, guys, enjoy the elections. Stay safe and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.